Alright, welcome to part 1 of the Cub Cadet Zero Turn. What model is it? It is a 42-inch cut RZT17. So, what I gotta do with this thing is it don't run and the piston doesn't move, and as I turn this it hits. Turn that way it hits, and that way it hits. So I'm thinking that possible options, well, I'm working on this for a coworker and he claims it wasn't run out of oil. It has oil in it, but you don't know if they put it in after that happened. I'm thinking that I'm just gonna take it apart and see what happened. I'm just more curious than anything. I already had the spark plug out. Yeah, I can see it. It ain't moving. So it could have rocked the connecting rod. The connecting rod cap could have came off. The bolts came out. Something could have let go in the engine that's blocking it. But it's got to be something with a connecting rod, because the piston should move regardless of what else happened. So I think I'm going to leave it in here in the frame. I'm thinking it'd be easier to hold it. I can just work on this back here. How much I'm going to have to take off, I don't know, but I will figure it out. So let's get started. All right, let's start here. The air filter first. And I wasn't very bright. I did some remodeling kind of by it, so it got covered with sawdust, but I blew it off. Well, the air cleaner was out, but I'm really not worried about it because of what we're dealing with. It's gonna have to be cleaned anyway, so I'm gonna get this top cover off here. So we got, looks like 2 bolts here. Bolt here. Probably have to take this fuel vacuum pump off. And does it even have fuel in it? It does. Alright, I think that's going to be standard or metric. Okay, that'll help. I should get a longer tube for it, I suppose. Alright, these back ones here are a T45 Torx. Kind of an odd thing. It looks like they probably would bolt things to that in other applications, maybe. Okay. So let's see if that's standard or metric. Is it 3/8? It is. Seems like it. Something holding over here yet. Might just be the carb intake. It looks like everything can come off except for here. I got something going on here. I'm gonna try taking that pump right off of there with these 2 screws, 2 bolts. Right here. There's one here and one here. And I might be able to slip it out of there. Why do you gotta be so stubborn? I was gonna say the F word there, but I didn't. I controlled myself, which is surprising. I'll just leave it on then. I'm sure there's a way it comes off there. Alright, that's off. So let's work on getting the flywheel off. Coil's gonna come off. Some more torques. I'm gonna have to get to that big nut. Big nut. That's the smaller torques. The T20, no. T25. 27. Yep, T27. I'm gonna switch this out again. Oh, it's quarter. Never mind. This has to come off to get at that nut. And there's a part that ain't very fun is getting the flywheel pulled off. That part sucks. I'm gonna go at the coil right away and get that off because it's gonna be easier to pull the flywheel, although I think it should come off without that. I'll do that after. So now that big nut. Alright, this 24 fits it pretty good. And I don't really have to, it's 6.2. I really don't have to worry about holding it because it'll hold it inside the engine. There we go. That keyway, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it with the GoPro. GoPro isn't that good at close-ups. That keyway is halfway through. So I wonder if that thing didn't abruptly stop. Alright, these 2 bolts or torques, 40. Yeah, T40. And that will remove this. So I'll put them back in. It might not be very easy to get off with that keyway the way it is, but... Alright, taking the coil ones off here. Get rid of the coil. Take that wire off there. I really need to get my magnet mount. I can't deal with this. Okay. I'll put them with the coil. here. Okay, now I gotta get this guy off of here. Alright, so here's what I came up with to try and get this flywheel off here. This is a puller, kind of a universal puller. This is as long as the bolts as I could find are 5/16, but they're in there enough that I like them in there quite a ways, but it looks like I got her going here. Let's see. This is loose now. Yeah. So I gotta get some plate off of here. I can get this nut up a little bit more. This guy here. I think the flywheel came up to the nut. I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, I think she's ready to come off. Yeah, it's loose. Oh yeah. Loose as a goose. Oh, kitty cat. Alright, the keyway came out in 2 pieces. When that happens, all kinds of things can happen, and none of them being good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take more off, take the muffler, disconnect the muffler here, take the carb end intake off, and this whole works here, and I'm going to go from there. Okay, let's start taking some stuff off. Alright, so I took the carbon intake off from here. And so I had the inside backfire wire here. And this, the throttle. The choke was already off, it probably came off from screwing with that cover. Exhaust was here. So I took these 2 bolts out. That holds that cover on, this cover here, shroud, that loosens that side up, 1 bolt here, and the whole muffler can come off. Hey baby. Hi. Okay, so the bottom, there's 1 long bolt on this engagement for the pulleys. I believe there's electronic engagement on here for the deck. So I took that off and it actually came off real easy. Now I just loosened the belt off. So now the bottom is ready to go except for taking the bolts out of the engine. There's a spring or a rag over there in the wheel too. That's nice. So up here I'm going to see what I got to do yet. What else I have to take off. I'm going to have to do something with these wires. Other than that though, let's see, there's this wire. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something with all the wires. This one goes to the coil. One underneath that looks like probably an oil pressure sensor. Thinking. There's 1 plug in there that's going to take a lot of them off. I'll have to take this off the starter. And what else do we have? This is not mounted except for here. And then the throttle cable. I believe it's also the choke. And that thing should be ready to come. So let's get started with that. It should come off pretty easy, I think. Yep. Okay, there's the third one in here. So I'm gonna have to remove this. Whoa. I cannot talk. Jesus. I have to remove this bolt here. I don't know what's holding that on. I'm gonna put this back in here. I'm sure it'll come off later, but I'll worry about that then. Okay, let's see if that's mounted to anything. Oh, it's just kind of stuck in there. All right. I'll disconnect him. I'll disconnect the starter cable. I'll go from there. All right, on the bottom, there is 3 bolts. There's one right there, and there, and there. And after that is off, and those 3 are out. She looks loose as a goose. Let's see if I can get her here. Alright, let's see what's going to be holding me up here. Okay, the throttle cable yet. Other than that, this can go with. So just the throttle cable. And I'm going to drain the oil after I get it out because it's got a stupid neck there that will leak all over the place. You know me better than that. Yeah, it's not really heavy. It's really not that heavy. Yeah, I gotta find my magnet mount. This is terrible. This is BS. Total BS. Okay. Yeah, here's the oil drain right here. So I'll get that drained out. And then I can turn it upside down, I believe. I think I'm gonna take the starter off. And kind of strip it down more because, well, if it's junk, it's junk, right? You want to help me? I think you should help me. Okay, Gats. This isn't going to be easy to get into. Alrighty. Let's get the oil coming out. And then I'll be back. Okay, back at this project. couple days went by, so plenty of time for it to drain the oil. Here's the oil. I've seen better, and I've seen worse. I've seen it come out like syrup and stringy in a 4-wheeler one time. Not quite chunky, but strings of oil. Okay, I'm gonna get this off, and I think this. So I want to turn the engine over. I gotta watch out for this. Turn it over that I can get the sump off. At least expose it and see what I gotta do here. All the oil's out, so I shouldn't really have to worry about that too much. So I think I'm gonna time lapse you. All right, let's get in here. Should be the oil pump. Keep track of my bolts. I think there's an O-ring on here, probably. Yeah. What if the oil pump was missing? Wouldn't that be cool? It could be completely missing. Alright, I'm gonna leave that be. Alright, I'm gonna hit all of these then. Oh, what size? 1/2 inch. Looks good. Okay, looks like the whole filter is gonna come off with it. Loctited, probably. Keep an eye to see if they're the same length. So far they're the same. Same so far. Definitely saves time. A little bit loud, but well, I will be cleaning. Well, if this engine's actually good, I'll be cleaning the heck out of it. But I have my doubts. All right, are you ready? Ready to make a mess? I don't know how to get this off of here decent. How about a rubber mallet? Well, I don't want to pound on this. I won't give it a here. Sounds like it's off already. Loose. But maybe not. I hear parts in there rattling around. So that ain't a good thing, is it? All right, now we got progress. Is it dark for you? I'm thinking it's dark. I gotta find my tripod. This is just terrible. So, let's see here. The moment of truth. I don't see a whole lot going on in here. There's the oil pump thing. This would be a problem. All right, look what we got here. All right. Yeah, this is like the bottom part of the connecting rod. This is a decompression assembly right here. And this pin, when it's not running, the valve will hit here and go up and release the compression. And then when it starts and it spins fast, a little spring loaded here, there's a flat spot right here. Now it's flat, so to give it its full compression. So that's how that thing works. Okay, we got some more pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there are signs of oil starvation or what. What we got going on in this bad boy. That last thing I took off there is the, I believe it's the governor. I believe it pushes on that. Push this up out of the way. I can grab him out of here. Ouch. Yikes. I'd say an oil starvation problem. The crank is bad. Pull this out of here. Here's the bolts. They're bent. More pieces. More pieces. That's why it won't come out. There's stuff here yet. Some goodies. There's goodies. All right, let's take some close-ups of this. A lot of chips in here. I'd really have to look at the the sleeve and see if it's gouged here. It actually doesn't look bad. Let's see. Doesn't look bad at all. Because, you know, if you get one of those chunks in there, you wouldn't think it would be able to get in there, but, you know, the filings get small enough. But there's parts all over the place. Pieces, parts. This crank is really bad. And then here's the piston and connecting rod and pieces that go with it. Actually, there should be 2 bolts for the connecting rod. I only seen one. Yeah, this bolt is bent too. Which means that, also indication that it was starving for oil and then it got basically just eased up. My question is, where's the other bolt? Yeah, I'm definitely making a mess. I'll clean that up later. Right now, it's getting late in the evening. I'm going to sit in my chair. I'm going to see if I can find parts for this. I'd just be curious if I can get it running more than anything. Is it the brightest move to do? Probably not. But if a guy can do it cheap enough, it probably would be better to throw a different engine on it. But just out of curiosity, I'd like to see if a guy could get it running.